I heard a remarkable fact on Saturday. Saturday was a feast day of St. Teresa of Lisieux. She is sometimes called St. Teresa the Little Flower, or of the Child Jesus. But she lived a very heroic, self-sacrificial life as a Carmelite nun, and she offered up many sacrifices, and a lot of suffering. Okay. Well, she said as she was going towards her death, she wrote in a letter to one of the others, she said that she felt like she was becoming fire, becoming like divine fire. But on her last day of life, she offered up her suffering for those who would be baptized that day. Now, it's just striking that one would think that way at all, that they would offer up the suffering for that particular cause. But she did on her last day of suffering before she died. She said, offer it all up for those who will be baptized this day. And it just so happened that that day, future Pope Paul VI was baptized in 1897. And I find that to be just a remarkable fact and a beautiful testimony of faith and something of a baton, the grace that God gives through one to another. And so I am very much enlivened with hope that God hears and answers all our prayers, that there's no act, no loving act or sacrifice or intercessory prayer that does not have an effect. Sometimes God's promises, fulfillments, are delayed a little bit. Have you ever felt that something was delayed? Have you felt delayed? I'm sure you felt delayed, right? I mean, if you get on a plane and you're transferring and hope you get another plane and the first one's late, it's delayed, you're very upset, right? You're driving down the highway, you want to get to a meeting, suddenly there's construction, you didn't expect it, everything's down to one lane, you're delayed. It's upsetting, right? You're in the grocery line, cashier gets it wrong with the person in front of you. Please get this thing going. So when we're delayed, we often feel impatient. And we want to control things and make it happen. We can get angry. We're disappointed sometimes if we didn't get to what we wanted to get to at that certain time. So being delayed does not usually bring positive feelings. In today's first reading from Habakkuk, it says that God said, I'm going to give you a vision, and while it may be delayed, it will come to its fruition. Okay, it will come to its effect. For the vision still has time. It presses on to fulfillment and will not disappoint. If it delays, wait for it. It will surely come and it will not be late. So in your own lives, young people, I think God loves to do this. He loves to give a little vision of something that's to come in your future, if you're listening, and then He delays in fulfilling it. And why? Well, not because He wants us to get impatient, upset, and disappointed, but because He wants us to grow in hope of the fulfillment of that vision, in faith and believing that it's true and it's going to happen, and to hunger for it with increasing intensity. I've been to the Dominican Republic and to Guatemala, and when I'm down there talking to the people, sometimes I really wish I was so fluent in Spanish, you know? I really long for that because I would like to communicate with them very easily, right? Muy fácil. And I get stuck a lot. But there's still something in me that's hoping I will get that fluidity, even at age 51. Okay? And maybe there's some of you who are hoping one day that you're going to open up a new business and you're going to be a successful entrepreneur. And that dream, maybe there's a grace with that dream in your heart that God is saying, I want to fulfill that. And it's not necessarily going to happen that quick, like McDonald's. Maybe you're going to have to fight for it. Maybe you're going to have to be waiting for it in patience. Maybe you're going to have to trust. Okay? Pope Paul VI, one of the things that he longed for was unity in Christendom. Okay? His motto when he became Pope was, "No one defeated, everyone convinced." That's the motto he chose. No one defeated, everyone convinced. And he did something extraordinary. When he got in office, he was the first pope to travel outside of Italy. Now, I knew Pope John Paul II, maybe a few of you older people did. I mean, he traveled to mega countries, right? All over the world. But Paul VI was the first. He went to 9 different countries. And one of them was Jerusalem, where he met the Orthodox Patriarch of Constantinople, now Istanbul. And they lifted the mutual excommunications that have been there for almost 1,000 years. And so the Orthodox and the Catholic churches said, we're going to call each other brother and sister again. We're going to take these excommunications and annul them. He longed for unity. Pope Francis is in Georgia, the country of Georgia, and he had Mass at a stadium this weekend, and it was half empty. Most of the country's Orthodox. Catholics came. Some of the Orthodox protested. And they thought maybe he's just coming to try and proselytize to get ours to become Catholic. But no, you know what? He hungers for unity in Christendom. And what Paul VI hungered for is still growing. And I believe in your lives, young people, you're going to see a great unification again happening in Christendom, coming together again. And maybe it's through the blood of martyrs, one means. But today, even though sometimes God delays, the vision will come to fruition. It will have its time. What is the vision that God is giving for you? What is the vision that God is giving for you? And who would you pray for like St. Teresa of Lisieux?